Howdy, everybody, and welcome to St. Croix Valley Rec Center in Stillwater, Minnesota. We're here for the 4AA Championship final game tonight between the Pioneers from Hill Murray taking on the Raiders from Cretin-Derham Hall. Alongside Corey Franzmeyer, I'm Jeb Brand. Glad to have you with us.
Yeah, it should be a great matchup this evening. You have two top-ranked teams in the state meeting for a chance to head to the state tournament.
Absolutely. Take a look at how each team prospectively got here. The number one ranked Pioneers defeated the Ponies Tuesday night.
Yeah, Hill Murray, they had a tough matchup against the number 4 seed Stillwater. It went down to the wire, 7 minutes left in the game. Laura Anderson was able to get a little breakaway and tap one in through the 5-hole on the Stillwater goaltender.
On the other side, the Raiders defeat the Raiders from Roseville, so they match up with the number one ranked Pioneers here tonight. As you see here, the Pioneers with a record of 25, and the Raiders, on the other hand, at 13, 10, and 2.
Yeah, Hill Murray, they get an opportunity to, defend their state championship here. I mean, it's always great for these seniors, champions last year. Now they get an opportunity to go out with a bang, back-to-back champions.
Couple players to watch for the Raiders. A senior forward, number 6, Paige Voigt.
Yeah, Paige Voigt's a definite goal scorer. 33 goals on the season, 16 assists, 49 points overall. She'll be heading to Merrimack College after her high school career is over with Cretin-Derham Hall.
And on the other side, the player of the game on Tuesday night over the Ponies, number 3, Laura Anderson.
Yeah, Laura Anderson's kind of the quiet leader on this club. She doesn't get all the recognition that some of the other ladies on the team get that are going on to play Division I hockey, but she's got 15 goals on the season, go along with 20 assists, 35 points overall, and she's definitely a goal scorer to watch this evening.
Absolutely. Should be a good one tonight. Live from Stillwater, Minnesota. We'll be right back after this.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
please.
Do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Welcome back to St. Croix Valley Rec Center, the 4AA Championship final game, the Pioneers and the Raiders. I'm Jeb Brand along with Corey Franzmeyer. Corey, we got a good one tonight. Get ready for here.
Yeah, absolutely. Section championships here in the state of Minnesota and the game of hockey are some of the biggest things we look forward to in the months of February, March. And this is a matchup of two great teams from the East Metro, St. Paul area, Cretin and Hill Murray. This should be a battle of ages here.
Definitely should be an epic battle tonight, and as the fans continue to pile in, it looks like we're going to have, if not a sold-out crowd, certainly close to.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a raucous crowd this evening here at the Stillwater St. Croix Valley Rec Center.
And we get started here now. The puck goes in deep into the Pioneers' end. Back to pick it up is Stefan around the bend. And it makes its way all the way through neutral zone. Fabi for the Raiders back to play. She loses it. Casa puts one wide of the net. Jess Bonfie on the puck. Sends it back, and it's fired right back in. Play along the half wall as both teams battle for it. And the puck comes, squirts out of the zone. And touched ahead was Fabi again for the Raiders. Back to play it. And icing is called on the Raiders.
Yeah, I think both teams here both teams really, really badly want to get out ahead first. It's a lot easier to play with the lead, especially when the circumstances are like they're in right now in a section championship game. It's a lot easier to play with the lead than it is coming behind all night.
Without a doubt, a shot on here and a big save by MMA, the first true test of the game. Raiders come into the zone. Hard down and around the net. She's ridden off the puck there by Herzog. Back to the point. Shot on, never makes its way to the net. Raiders spearing sends it down and around. This is Herzog for the Pioneers. Plays it up off the handle. And a shot tipped away. Back to play it is Prater for the Pioneers. Prater reverses and starts to make her way out of the zone. Captain for the Pioneers across mid-ice, battling hard. Gets it in just inside. And the Raiders clear the zone, and the Pioneers will send it right back in. Fabi for the Raiders. Puts on the brakes, reverses, looks to break out. Plays broken up there by Klein. And up the sidewall. Held in there by Smith. As they battle on the half board. Puck comes to neutral. This is Wemple. Sends it up and in. Tried to spring Casa. Both teams kind of feeling each other out early on here, Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's kind of what I said earlier. You know, both teams are kind of feeling each other out. It's like the early rounds in a title fight, trying to see what they can get away with. You know, what they're going to have to do to, you know, get the early lead and kind of, you know, break the ice in this game this evening.
Back to the point, never makes its way in. Bonfie with the puck. Bonfie sends it up to Wemple, sends one in off the Raiders skate. And now the Raiders clear the zone. Taylor Wemple sends one in, steered aside easily by May. Both teams get fresh legs on the ice. And up through center, pass off the mark by Osborne. And they battle in the neutral zone here. And it's sent all the way in by Kopkin.
Yeah, we got a great matchup this evening of goaltending here, Jeb. We got Leah Patrick of Hill Murray heading to Union to go to school, having a great season this year. And MMA for Cretin-Derham Hall, heading to the U of M.
Going to be a golden gopher.
After her high school days are over. And so, like I said, it should be a good matchup, probably a low-scoring game.
Opportunity there, just missed. A shot wide. That was Klein for the Raiders, just missed the net. And Pioneers get a quick break there early on. Sent back in by the Raiders. Back to play it is Steffen. Steffen clears the zone. Fabi sends it over to Voigt. Paige Voigt, the ever-explosive, taken down. The Pioneers go back the other way. This is Steffen. Steffen gets the zone. She puts one on, never made it to the net.
Yeah, both teams are out here skating hard early on in this first period here, Jeb. I mean, it's back and forth, and no one's really controlled one end of the ice.
A lot of blocked shots thus far. Both teams, as we touched on, kind of getting a feel for each other. Should be a good one here tonight. As they battle down in the corner, puck comes up. Prater there to hold the zone.
Yeah, a lot of Division I talent out here this evening, Jeb. We can go into details as the game goes on, but there's about 5 or 6 future Division I hockey players out here tonight.
Great to see, especially coming out of the state of hockey. Bonfie back. Prater sends it into the corner. Bonfie gives chase. Touches it to Zarembinski. Zarembinski out front. Shot cleared away by May, and it's sent the length of the ice. The Raiders will be called for icing.
Yeah, so far, both teams, no one's really taking the advantage here of, any control.
Let's look at some of the keys to the game, Corey.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Schaffhauser before the game. He said the most important thing was take care of the puck. A lot of turnovers last game against Stillwater. Play more loose than they did against Stillwater. They came out tight, and it showed. And obviously, get an early advantage. It's a lot easier to play with the lead than it is coming from behind all night.
Absolutely, especially in a championship final game. The first few minutes, the nerves are there for both sides. So it kind of calms the nerves when you get off to an early lead.
Yeah, and sometimes, there's a lot of returning players from that state championship team, and some people might think, well, they've done it before. The pressure's almost on more to do it again than it is the first time you do it. You're a lot more loose when you've done it before, and now you know what it takes to do it, and you're trying to get to that point.
Absolutely. Not to mention a target on your back by every other team that's trying to get to where you just were.
Yeah, and this is a hungry Cretin team. It's been a while since they've made a run themselves, and they're hungry for a state championship themselves.
French hard into the corner, battling for the puck. comes out to Reagan. And on the sidewall. Opportunity bings around here. Back the other way is Patera for the Raiders. She sends it in and gives chase. As they go into the corner, puck sent all the way around. Blinkhorn for the Pioneers. Tries to go back. Hogue picks it up. Sends it. Puck cross is sent in deep by the Pioneers. Raiders look to take it back the other way. Up the wall all the way to center. Sent right back in by Steffen. Bonfie hard into the corner. Zarembinski is there. And Beckers comes out with the puck for the Raiders. Across mid-ice, Beckers loses a handle on it. It comes all the way back. Sent back in by Molnar. Herzog sends it up the boards. Zarembinski, and the puck's tipped up out of play.
Yeah, you mentioned Blinkhorn as she was getting out the ice. You know, she's an 8th grader. She played a role in last year's team, and there's Coach Bill Schaffhauser, you know, defending state championship coach, looking for another one.
Absolutely. Coach very poised, like you said, wants to get off to an early lead, just like the head coach on the other side, Johnny Pohl. And the Pioneers send it in just onside, a missed opportunity there. Back the other way into the Pioneer zone, out in front. And
yeah, Jeb, just to finish that take on Haley Blinkhorn, you know, 7th grader, played a role on the state championship team, and now, you know, a 3rd liner here on the as an 8th grader. I mean, just think of the hockey she's still got left to play. I mean, 2 years already and 4 more to go. I mean, the experience she's going to have by the time she's a junior and senior.
Without a doubt, more than likely another Division I player coming from the Pioneers organization. Pioneers send it in deep. Boreen sends it out front, and it's tipped aside. Back to pick it up as Molnar for the Raiders. She clears the zone. Boreen hard into the corner, and she gets it deep. Back to play it is Spearing for the Raiders. She turns it up ice. Sends it through neutral zone, picked off by Bonfie. 3-on-2 opportunity. Bonfie tries to make a move. Puck squirts to the corner. And they battle behind the net. Nice play there as Molnar lost her stick, was able to use her feet to clear the zone. And it's at neutral, bounced around. Bonfie sends it over to Casa. Casa with a shot, kicked aside by May. A good scoring chance there. And May was there.
That was the best scoring chance we've seen so far. You know, both these teams are skating hard, middle of the ice, and a lot of block shots. And you know, like I said, no one's really put a good shot on the net. That was a great shot by
Jack Casa.
By Jack Casa, who's another one of those D1 players we were talking about, and she's on her way to the University of Bemidji State University.
As we take a look there at assistant coach Terry Schreipek, head coach Johnny Pohl, former Golden Gopher, Red Wing winger.
Yeah, he was a part of that U of M team that finally broke their national championship drought.
Absolutely.
Guys like Jordan Leopold and Barry Talixon, Matt Kowalska.
Back-to-back championships. There's Johnny Pohl. 2002, 2003. Pretty decorative career. Spent some time. He was drafted by the Blues. Spent some time with the Maple Leafs. Played a number of seasons in the AHL.
Yeah, it's definitely been a hockey-filled life for Mr. Pohl.
Absolutely. Raiders win the draw back in their own end. This is Fabi. Fabi sends it up the board. It's tipped out. And back to play it is Hogue for the Pioneers. It's handled there, easily stared aside by Patrick. As the Pioneers, Laura Anderson can't clear the zone. Beckers for the Raiders. Puck bounced around, sent out front. And it's cleared away. A nice defensive play there as Anna Klein for the Raiders tried to put a shot on net.
Yeah, Hill Murray's been vulture-like.
Opportunity here. Laura Anderson tries to go ringside. The Featherstones broken up there by the Raider defense.
Yeah, Hill Murray's been vulture-like defensively. I mean, I don't even think Cretin's had a real legitimate shot on goal this evening. Anything close, they're just eating it up and getting it out of the zone.
Icing called on the Raiders here. So just under 7 minutes left to play. Take a look at the netminders for both squads.
Yeah, like I said, Jeb, a couple Division I players there. MMA, Leah Patrick, both outstanding seasons, outstanding high school careers, and both of them want to extend it past this evening.
Great to see both of them going to two solid colleges, to say the least, and always great to see. The Raiders send it in. Back to play it is Herzog for the Pioneers. She touches it over to Prater. Prater back down to Herzog. And Herzog starts it up. Held in there by Spearing. Sent up and tipped through the neutral zone. And icing's put on the Pioneers. Both teams will look to switch. Got about 6:21 left to play here in the first period. Alongside Corey Franzmeyer, I'm Jeb Brand. On location, TV 19. Section 4AA Championship Final. Pioneers and the Raiders.
Yeah, it's been a hard skating first period so far. 11 minutes, almost 11 minutes into the period here. Neither team has really put a lot of quality shots on net, but there's been a lot of action in the middle of the ice between the lines.
Absolutely, a lot of neutral zone play. Prater back for the Pioneers, sends it up. Boreen touches it, possible 2-on-1. Boreen sends it out front, and a shot at a huge save by MMA as she got the pad out. Laura Anderson with as good of a look as they get. Back the other way, Patrick covers up easily.
Yeah, I spoke too soon right after I said something. Both teams get, a couple good looks, but what a great save by MMA. I mean, she looked like she was just beaten. She came out of nowhere.
Huge opportunity there, and May sliding over, getting the left pad out. Laura Anderson, the hero Tuesday night, almost had another one on her stick. Puck sent back, tipped out front, bounced around. Patrick able to get a pad on it. Opportunity there for the Pioneers. The Raiders. Prater sends it back to Herzog. Herzog flips it up and out of the zone. Casa gives chase. Puck sent all the way around, held in there by Prater, and it's popped out to neutral zone. Now this is Wemple. Wemple looks to make a move. Down and around the net. Taylor Wemple sends it out front. Lambert tries to get it over. That's held in there. Opportunity here steered aside by May. The Raiders looking to clear the zone. They do. They get it up, and it's touched at neutral zone. Icing waved off.
Yeah, both teams are starting to kind of figure out a way to break the defense a little bit and, create some good scoring opportunities for themselves. And, I think it's going to create for a really exciting game over the next two periods.
Certainly, without a doubt. Raiders back to play. Trying to clear the zone. It's banged around there. Ellie French gives chase for the Pioneers. As they battle along the half wall. And Fabi comes away with the puck. She sends it back up the half wall. And it's out through neutral. Keppel for the Pioneers sends it up. This is Fabi. Sent in. Oh, and just missed.
The crowd's getting in it tonight. This is a full packed house this evening here, Jeb, and you can definitely feel it.
Raiders starting to apply some pressure. A shot. Big save by Patrick. Kick to the corner. You feel the Raiders starting to apply a little pressure here. Puck sent back. Osborne never made its way to Patrick. Pioneers send it the length of the ice. We'll have another icing.
Yeah, that's a situation where Patrick just got rid of it. You know, I mean, it was a 5-on-5, but they were kind of in a situation where it was like killing a penalty. Just get it out of there. Let's change lines and get a fresh start here.
The student section for the Raiders becoming very packed, to say the least, and certainly extremely vocal as they feel their team start to apply some pressure.
You got to think sometimes that affects a goalie. You know, I mean, if something's going on and maybe there's some communication going on the ice between defensemen, she can't hear anything. You know, and she's just going all visual and trying to watch the puck there.
Absolutely. As they battle along the sidewall here. Puck down into the corner, never made its way out front. Pioneers look to clear the zone. They do. Stefan sends it up just off the tape of Anderson. And they're called for icing again. Just over 3 minutes left to play in a Section 4A, AA, championship final. Pioneers and the Raiders. 0-0 hockey game.
Yeah, you just mentioned Mackenzie Stefan there. She's heading across the border to the University of Wisconsin to play hockey for the Badgers.
So it won't be the last time Emma May and Stefan see each other then.
No, absolutely. I'm sure it's not going to be the last time a lot of these ladies see each other. You know, they're all going to big-time schools. And
Bonfie sends one on. A rebound kicked away by May. And a stoppage in play as a feistiness gets a little bit down by the net there. Nice opportunity for the senior Jess Bonfie as May was there to shut the door.
Yeah, you can tell when the emotions are, you can tell the...
See there, shot put right on and kicked aside. Bonfie getting her own rebound, but May was there to corral the puck.
Yeah, like I was saying, you can tell that the emotions are high in the section championship game. You know, a little pushing and shoving after the whistle. You know, I mean, it's just girls they're just out here battle tonight. You know, and they're not going to take anything from each other, and you know they're gonna fight to the end.
Absolutely, a little bit of rough and tough continues as Bonfie takes down one of the Raider players. Looked like Kopkin got knocked over. Stefan back to play it. Sends it over to Hogue. Hogue sends it up the board. And a one-on-one opportunity here. No call. Boreen with some steam. Tries to center. Hit a skate.
Hey, what a great call by the referee to let them play on that one. That was just a couple skates got tangled up and they both hit the ground. I mean, he could have blew the whistle and gave it to somebody, but I'm sure glad he let them play and let the ladies figure it out the old-fashioned way.
The Raiders are offside, so they'll be called for offsides here. Take another look at the collision at center ice there. As you can see, no real distinct tripping committed by either player, just like you touched on, tangle up in skates.
Yep.
Face off just outside the Pioneer zone. Won by the Raiders. Back to play it is Osborne. And Osborne sends it in. Herzog is there for the Pioneers. She sends it up to Featherstone. Featherstone with some speed. Featherstone sends it back. Shot on net. Never made its way to the net. Knocked down by the Raider player. And Herzog's back to play. Prater had lost her stick on the play. Herzog sends it over to Prater. Intercepted there by the Raiders and sent in. Minute left to play in this first period of the Section 4AA championship final game. 0-0 hockey team and an opportunity here. And a nice defensive play by Herzog.
Yeah, neither team wants to give up a cheap one here right before the first period.
The puck's banged around there, and we're gonna have ourselves some pushing and shoving here, and looks like the go-to Paige Voigt.
Yeah, that might have got the crowd excited, but that could be a costly move by Paige Voigt. Throwing a punch like that, she might be done for the game unless they. let it slide, and we'll see what they call.
Bit of a scrumble out in front of the goaltender, Leah Patrick, and some pushing and shoving, and we'll take another look at it here. I think Voigt's lucky she didn't.
Yeah, blatant right hook there by number 6, Paige Voigt. I mean, we'll see what they figure out here, but I'd be surprised if she finishes this one.
God, head coach Johnny Pohl got to be happy that they got away with one there. Normally, she'd be seeing the locker room typically, but
you gotta love the intensity and the fire, though. I mean, as a coach, but you know, you can be fiery and intense, but not foolish. And that was an absolutely foolish move, and she got away with one for only 2 minutes of roughing.
Especially one of their go-to players and someone that's a leader, you know, in the locker room. Not exactly the example you want to set, but you know, then again, big championship game. I think the emotions might have got the best of her there.
Well, I think in a situation like that, Jeb, since she didn't get kicked out of the game, that might fire up the locker room. You know, if she gets kicked out of the game, it just deflates the entire locker room. So, you know, chalk one up for Cretin as a win when it comes to, you know, intensity going into the second period.
So after one 0-0 hockey game between the Pioneers and the Raiders, we'll be right back after this.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look! Your crush is looking at you.
Or you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Welcome back to the St. Croix Valley Rec Center, the 4AA Championship Final. I'm Jeb Brand with Corey Franzmeyer. And Corey, one period of play down, a 0-0 game. Certainly been physical, to say the least.
Oh, it's been a real physical matchup between a couple teams that are just out here just fighting for a state tournament opportunity here. There's been pushing and shoving after whistles. There's been some punches thrown. It's just a couple teams that are giving everything they got to get out of here alive.
Absolutely. Both teams battling for a trip to state. The Pioneers, the former state champions from last year. Cretin-Derham Hall looking to punch their ticket this year. No pun intended there. Corey, you touched on the physicality of the game thus far.
Yeah. Right before the end of the first period, it got real physical down on the north end of the net here, and if we can take a look.
We end up having some pushing and shoving, to say the least, and a punch thrown. It resulted in a Pioneer power play. A minute 25 left to go in the Pioneers power play as we get started here in the second period. Shots on goal so far have been of the way of the Pioneers at 11-7. Another look at the physicality we touched on.
Yeah, here's Paige Voigt just throwing a right cross at Becca Zamrabinski right before the end of the first period. You know, Voigt's lucky that she's still in the game, and she's just taking a 2-minute roughing penalty here. But she's definitely put her Raiders teammates' backs against the wall coming into the second period, having to kill a penalty here to start off period number 2.
The Pioneers power play ever so lethal, but then again, Emma May, the nets for the Raiders, is certainly a huge reason why the Raiders have such a strong penalty kill this year.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been able to save 11 so far. A couple really great saves that she's had to really go out of her way and make, and now she's got to, you know, keep doing her job and doing what she's been doing in the first period.
Icing called here as we get started here in the second period. Let's head downstairs where we hear from Luke Howitt.
Twitter.com/TV19 Sports. So far it's been a heck of a street fight, and it should be a great game moving forward. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Luke. Back at it here. Casa takes it in. 2-on-1 opportunity here. Broken up there by Molnar, and she sends it the length of the ice. In hard after it. Pioneers regain possession as they take it up and send it in. Casa strong into the corner, and the Raiders hard up off into the glass and all the way down. Back to play it is Prater for the Raiders. She sends it over to Steffen. Steffen sends it up to Anderson. Anderson sends it in deep. Featherstone hard into the corner. Boreen comes up with the puck. Boreen looks to reverse down low. It's broken up there, held in nicely by Prater. Featherstone battles, but the Raiders penalty kill so far looking pretty sharp.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, coming out of the gates here, I mean, I suppose, you know, it is kind of easy coming into a period when you're prepared that you're going to have to kill a penalty instead of in the middle of a flow of a game when it's going back and forth, you know, to know that we're coming out here and we got to shut them down 5-on-4 for another minute and a half.
Right. Maureen sends it up on the stick of Laura Anderson. She loses a handle there. Maureen cuts to the middle. Voigt gets her stick up high, and it goes uncalled. And the Pioneer fan base not too happy with the call. Just out of the reach there, and the Pioneers called for icing.
Yeah, old Paige Voigt. I mean, I don't know much about her, but you know, she's got a little goon in her. She's a high-skilled goal scorer, but she's rough and tough out there as well. I'm kind of curious to see if there's going to be any Hill Murray retaliation.
See again there, she get the stick up under the helmet of Boreen there. Looking just about decapitated her. Luckily, no one hurt on the play.
I was almost going to compare to NHL player Todd Bertuzzi.
Right. Or Ogie Oglethorpe, one or the other. Raiders with a nice outlet pass here, and it's steered away. A nice defensive play by Smith as she gets it up and out of the zone. Just in front of the Pioneer bench. Back for it is Osborne for the Raiders. She goes hard into the corner with Herzog. Osborne comes out with the puck, sends one in on Patrick, and Patrick holds. Paige Voigt, as we take a look at her there, a very aggressive player and just gritty. You know, you got to give it off to her heading to Merrimack next year.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, 33 goals on the season. She definitely knows how to put the puck in the net.
Certainly. Pioneers break out here just out of the reach of Casa. She gives chase, and the Pioneers called for icing again. Take a look at the keys of the game that Coach Schaffhauser touched on earlier, Corey.
Yeah, you know, I think they definitely came out and took care of the puck. You know, it was a back-and-forth game. You know, a lot of good puck handling. You know, you could see they played a lot more loose. You know, they were against a higher quality team than Stillwater. And, you know, they played with them and they played loose and they had their opportunities. They just weren't able to capitalize.
Face-off won by the Pioneers. Back to play it is Hogue. She gets it up. Pioneers break out. And here's Voigt. Voigt tries to go back. It's intercepted by the Pioneers, sent in. And tough one, but May able to hang on there. I think she was a little caught off guard there with the dumping.
Yeah, sometimes that happens when you're kind of sitting back and all of a sudden, you know, it just kind of comes at you and you make that save look a lot more difficult than it actually needed to be.
Absolutely. You got to imagine both coaches are probably letting their players know at this stage of the season and where they're at and how important the game is. No shot's a bad shot.
No, absolutely. You know, I mean, more opportunity you can put the puck on the net, more opportunity for the puck to go in the net, you know.
Certainly. Pioneers win the draw off the half wall here, held in. They battle into the corner. Rubbed off the puck was Anderson. And the Raiders look to clear. Bounced off a skate and held in. And Fabi sends it up and into the Pioneer end. Laura Anderson sends it around. Wemple there to break out. Wemple gets it through neutral off the stick of Boreen.
The chippiness has definitely skewed over in the second period here, Jeb. You know, there's a lot of kind of pushing and shoving and elbowing, and you know, like I said, these ladies are doing everything they can to get an edge, you know, mentally and physically in this game this evening.
Absolutely. Both teams battling very hard here early on. Just over 13 minutes left to play here in the second period. Puck out and held in, and now knocked out of the zone. This is Hansen for the Raiders. She comes across and is knocked off the puck. Lambert gets it ahead. And the Pioneers will be called for offsides as Lexi Klein was in early.
Yeah, that was Jordan Hansen. You know, some nice stick on the handle in there. She's only a sophomore, Jeb. Second on the team in points for Cretin this year with 36 points, 13 goals on the season.
Face off just outside the Raiders' end. It trickles in, now brought through neutral. Pioneers look to send it in. This is Casa. Castle puts one that's steered away. And into the corner, they battle for it. Zarembinski. Nice little stick work. Zarembinski out front. Bonfie was there, but just couldn't get any wood on it. Bonfie and Voigt battle. Puck comes up top. Steffen sends one in just wide. Hold keeps the zone for the Pioneers. Back to play it is Spearing for the Raiders. And the Raiders try to dump it in. Off the mark. Puck finds its way on the Raiders' stick. Opportunity. Oh, and she lost the handle on it. Back the other way for the Pioneers. And to pick it up was Molnor for the Raiders. She sends it across ice to Fabi. And Beckers touches it in. Steffen for the Pioneers. Behind the net. Stop there. Raiders gain possession, try to center, but it's picked up there and taken back the other way. 3-on-2 opportunity. Boreen tries to send one. That's steered away by Fabi. Boreen and Fabi battle in the corner. Featherstone down to Boreen. And on the half wall, the Raiders clear the zone.
Jeb, by far, this is one of the most physical girls hockey games I've ever seen in my entire life. And we're only a period and a half almost into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. The intensity is certainly there. The fans are in it. We're here at the St. Croix Valley Rec Center, the championship game. Pioneers and Raiders, the winner punches their ticket to the state tournament. Opportunity here, kicked away by May.
Yeah, not only do one of these teams punch their ticket to the state tournament, one of these two teams would be favored to win the whole state tournament.
Absolutely. Pioneers dump it in and get fresh legs. Fabi tries to clear, it's kept in. And on the half wall, Casa battles. Sent around with the Pioneer defense there to hold the zone. Sent on net. I don't know that May seen it. Up and out of the zone. Icing's put on. And we'll have a stoppage in play.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeb. This has been one of the most undiscreet group of referees I've ever seen at in a game. I mean, they are just letting these ladies play. There's so much pushing and shoving going on, and you know, I'm for it. You know, I mean, unless it's, you know, actual haymakers thrown and different things like that, let these girls figure it out on the ice.
I couldn't agree with you more. In a game with so much meaning, the last thing you want to do is have the refs, you know, essentially have an advantage on one side or the other by calling, you know, penalties and whatnot. Let them play, and we're in for a treat right now. It's been great thus far.
Yep. Just call the obvious and let the girls play. I agree. Yep.
Absolutely. Bonfie sends it back. Up across center ice they come. Opportunity here. A shot never made its way. Kicked out front. Anderson sends one on. Held by May. May took offense to Anderson trying to get in there for a tip. And the Raiders are certainly a feisty bunch, and they've got the fans behind them stirring them up.
Well, all the pushing and shoving happens on this, you know, Cretin student section end of the ice. Maybe you know, after the whistle blows, the students are just firing these girls up.
Without a doubt. 9:52 left to play. Pioneers and Raiders. Pioneers with a 2-1 shot advantage thus far, 16-8. They ask Anderson to step out, so Boreen will take the face-off for the Pioneers. Face-off won by Boreen. Held in there. Opportunity here. Put on net, never made its way, and a shot by Featherstone is kicked aside by May. Boreen sends it down and around. Featherstone to give chase. Fabi sends it over to her D partner. That's Molnar, sends it up ice. And the Pioneers get it back into the Raiders' zone. Raiders send it up, pass picked off there. Turned over, back the other way is Beckers for the Raiders. And turnover, Pioneers with numbers. This is Smith, sends one on, kicked, save and a butte by May.
Yeah, it's one of the first few times you've mentioned Annie Becker's name. She's a senior forward that's heading to Merrimack as well.
Well, you touched on it in the first period. A lot of Division I players coming from both these schools. Certainly a favorite. Whoever advances on to the state tournament is certainly going to be a favorite within the tournament.
Yeah, well, how physical this game's been. Let's see what kind of condition these teams are at after they get out of this battle.
Face off to the right of May, won by the Raiders. Battle in the corner here. As they battle on the half wall. And the puck comes out. Raiders come into the zone. This is Klein, sends it deep. Steffen to give chase. Steffen sends it rink wide. That's cut off there. Here's Voigt, tries to send the backhand in. Puck never made its way to Patrick. Pioneers back the other way. Bonfie sends it in. Pioneers change.
Yeah, that was just great grittiness from Mackenzie Steffen just to get the body down and get that puck, just block the puck for her goalie and get the puck out of the zone.
Through the neutral zone. They play, it's touched around and sent D to D. Back to play it for the Raiders is Spearing. She sends it in. And it's sent right back up the boards. Pioneers coming to the zone. Laura Anderson off the post. An opportunity for Anderson, and she hit the side post. Another shot now, never made its way out front. And the Raiders send it the length of the ice, and we'll have a Raider icing.
No, Laura Anderson put a great shot on that puck. Put it up top where she wanted it, and I believe that was just a beautiful glove save by Emma May.
A Tuesday night star for the Pioneers, just about put them out in front. We'll take another look at it here. Anderson.
Yeah, she skates the puck in, gets a good look, puts it up top, and she did hit the post there, Jeb. You're right. Emma May dodged a bullet there, if you will, and counts as a save in the book. But her old friend, the crossbar, did her a favor.
Absolutely. 7:20 left to play here in the second period. Scoreless hockey game between the Raiders and the Pioneers. Back to play it is Klein, sends it low to Lambert. Lambert up to the point. Herzog loses a handle and skated over the puck. Missed opportunity there for the Raiders as Osborne had just overskated it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she had a clear break. I mean, she could have done whatever she wanted, and it would have just been her against Patrick, but she didn't seize the opportunity, and we're still in the same situation here.
Icing called on the Pioneers, so we'll have a face-off to the left of Patrick.
I definitely feel that Hill Murray has controlled the pace of play the second period. I mean, they've outshot them 7-1 here in the second period, and all the action's been down here on this end of the ice, and Hill Murray's really came out intense.
Face off to the left of Patrick. Bonfie looks to set up. Face off won by the Pioneers. Back around her net is Prater, sends it up the sideboard. It's sent in and icing put on. It'll be another Pioneer icing.
Yeah.
6:36 left to play here. St. Croix Valley Rec Center. Glad to have you with us. On location, TV 19. I'm Jeb Brand alongside Corey Franzmeyer. Sideline reporter tonight, done by Luke Howitt. Face-off won by the Raiders. Bounced around middle of the ice. Pioneers don't allow it to even get to Patrick. And they flip up and off the glass. Sent up just out of the reach of Zarembinski. Casa loses a handle on it. Osborne sends it up to Beckers. Beckers in, slides a one-hander, easily steered away by Patrick. Back the other way, the Pioneers. This is Anderson. No call on the play as Anderson was taken off the puck. Prater for the Pioneers gets it up. Shot put on, steered aside. And the Raiders back the other way to neutral ice. Wemple off the Raider foot and into the zone. Fabi lost the handle there, but it makes its way back up to neutral zone. And Compton loses the puck. Warreen sends it up, tipped out at neutral ice. Back the other way is Hansen. She sends it in deep. And Keppel back to play it for the Pioneers, reverses it. Taylor Wemple sends it up the far wall. Lexi Klein advances the zone. Down into the corner, Klein. Wemple was looking for a one-timer there. Opportunity for Voigt, and she couldn't find a handle on the puck. Raiders look to get it deep. Banged around, and it looks like it popped out of play into the Raider bench.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things here, Jeb. We're 4 minutes left in the second period, and, you know, you're just in the situation where you're like, something's got to give. You know, someone's got to put one in here and kind of, you know, strike that first blow this evening. But it's just been back and forth and just a really competitive game this evening.
Raiders send it in deep and give chase. Down in the corner is Beckers for the Raiders. Battling in the corner. And out with the puck come the Pioneers. Zarembinski up to Bonfie. Bonfie sends one on, easily held on by May. And some pushing and shoving continues as Casa lets Voigt know how she felt about the first period shenanigans.
It's definitely created a bit of a storyline here this evening. I mean, Paige Voigt, you know, everybody wants a piece of her now. I wouldn't be surprised if every time she's on the ice and we get a whistle blow that she's involved in some kind of pushing and shoving.
Face-off won by the Raiders. Back behind the net. No call there as Lambert was taken down. Featherstone, excuse me. Pioneers through neutral zone. Advance into the corner. This is Steffen, sends one out front. And we're going to have another melee here as Pioneers went in hard on May.
Yeah, May's done a real good job tonight. I mean, she got caught a break by one hit in the post, but really, you know, everything that's been shot at her, she's you know, made them look easy for the most part.
Certainly seeing the puck well thus far, like you touched on, the one that bailed out by the pipe, but other than that, she's had great positioning thus far and really cut off all angles. Face off to the left of May. 3:51 left to play here in the second period. 0-0 hockey game, 4AA championship final. The Raiders out of Cretin-Derham Hall and the Pioneers from Hill Murray. Who will strike first? Offsides waved off. The Raiders regroup, send it out through center. Back to play it. Touched in there by Smith. And it's sent into the Pioneer end. Kennedy Hogue tries to send it up. It's picked off. What a nice defensive play by Hogue.
You know, there's going to come a time here, I think.
Bonfie's going to be called for tripping there. And the fans on the Pioneer side are not happy. Paige Voigt sends one in. Patrick able to get in front of it. It bounced around a bit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to touch on. I said it's going to come to a point here where the refs are going to have to make some kind of a call just to kind of put a kibosh to all the chippiness, because, you know, you keep letting them get away with it, and they're going to keep doing it.
Take another look here, and Voigt send one in. It bounced around a bit. Patrick thought she lost it. The whistle had blown, and Bonfie will go off.
Well, this is definitely an opportunity for Cretin-Derham Hall to strike first here. They haven't put as many shots on net as Hill Murray has, but now they got the 5-on-4, and, you know, we'll see what they can do.
Opportunity for the Raiders here at the power play. They send one in, and it's kicked wide as they look to set it up and out of the zone. Voigt sends it over to Osborne. Osborne back to Voigt. Voigt enters the Pioneer zone, cuts to the middle, a shot up and over the net. Beckers with the puck.
I'm sure Leah Voigt's happy she's not on this Cretin-Derham Hall student section end of the ice. She can kind of concentrate a little bit, because that's a pretty raucous group that they have here this evening here in Stillwater.
Absolutely. Pioneers pin it up on the sidewall. It's now jarred loose. And the Pioneers sent the length of the ice. This one will come in on May. May had to corral a bouncing puck there.
Probably toughest save she's had to make all night almost.
Paige Voigt enters the zone, leaves it back for Klein. Klein sends one in. Kicked around out front and covered up by Patrick. She'll hold on. Just under 2 minutes left to play. Less than a minute left in the Raider power play as we look to see who strikes first.
Yeah, we're still looking to see who's gonna notch that first goal of the evening. You know, I mean, it's one of those things where you go into the intermission 0-0 still. You're kind of starting over again. You know, you're trying to pep the girls up. You know, same old thing. Keep doing what we're doing. Keep doing what we're doing, and we'll get a bounce.
Absolutely. Certainly the momentum will be on the side of whoever does strike first. This place is packed now. Shot on net. Cleared away by Patrick. Back to play it. Osborne puts one wide of the net. Just missed there as it caromed off the back wall. But Hansen tried to knock one in.
Hill Murray defensively is just so good at not letting the second chance opportunity happen. I mean, as soon as Leah Patrick makes a save and she doesn't glove it or pounce on it, they're there to get it out of there.
Voigt the other way for the Raiders, brings it down and around the net, tries to send one on zone. Knocked out by the Pioneers. Both gals go hard into the sidewall here. And the Pioneers send it the length of the ice. Less than a minute left to play. Pioneers back at full strength. Bonfie steps on the ice. Turnover here. Bonfie sends one in, and it's gobbled up by May.
22nd save on the evening for Emma May. Just working hard out there. That was a good snipe by Bonfie, and you know, we still haven't seen that first blow of the evening.
Some good chances by the Raiders on the power play with Patrick there to shut the door. Face off, won by the Pioneers. Back to Herzog. She sends it down into the corner. Out of the corner, Laura Anderson, a shot, a blocker saved by May. Nice opportunity there. Held in there by Prater. And no call, as it looked like Prater's stick got tied up. Raiders send it back in. They'll have to get back on side. 30 seconds left to play. Casa sends one in off of Fabi's shin pads. Never made its way. Casa through neutral zone. And a stoppage in play. Not sure what the stoppage was for, but sounds like we had some clock difficulties, so we'll get that all squared away. And by the looks of the Raider bench, Sounds like the period was supposed to have come to an end.
All right. Looks like it's the end of the second period there, Jeff.
So that'll do it after 2. The Raiders 0, the Pioneers 0.
Yeah, it's been a intense matchup, and if you're part of these two proud organizations of Cretin-Derham Hall and Hill Murray, and you're not here tonight, you're missing out.
Absolutely. I'm Jeff Brand along with Corey Franzmeyer on location TV 19. We'll be right back after this with the third period.
You make me wear my bike helmet.
Taught me never to run with scissors.
And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
And welcome back to the St. Croix Valley Rec Center 4AA Championship Final. Pioneers and the Raiders getting set for the third period. Who's going to strike first, Corey? 0-0 game thus far.
I have no idea. They both had power plays. It's been a physical game, and, you know, I have no idea what's going to happen. All I know is this has been a fantastic, entertaining game, and I am really going to thoroughly enjoy this third period.
Absolutely, in for a treat. Let's send it down to ice level with Luke Howard.
Just getting ready to get underway here in the third period between a great battle between Cretin-Derham and Hill Murray. And remember, if you missed any of the action thus far, TV 19 will be re-airing the game in its entirety on Sunday, February 15th at 7:30 p.m. on Comcast Channel 19. This game's setting up to be an absolute barn burner. Let's send it back up to Jeb and Corey for the third period.
Absolutely, Luke. It's been an epic battle thus far as we get started here in the third period. The Pioneers send it through neutral. Casa hard in. She leaves it back for Zarembinski. Zarembinski out front. Goal!
What a phenomenal start for Hill Murray. Come out of the gates and tap one in. I didn't see who got that one. Was that Bonfi or Zarembinski? I guess we'll find out. But either way, Hill Murray has struck first, and they have taken control of this Section 4AA championship game.
Take another look here as Zarembinski sent it out, and Bonfi with the one-timer beats Emma May on the blocker side, and the Pioneers strike first, 1-0.
Yeah, Jess Bonfi, the leader of this Hill Murray club. That's her 25th goal on the season to go along with 19 assists. That's 44 points on the year. She leads the Hill Murray Pioneers.
Maureen back the other way, and Laura Anderson into the corner. Knocked off the puck there. And the Raiders look to clear the zone. Up through neutral zone. Klein loses the puck there. Back the other way. In is Prater. Prater's knocked off the puck. And Klein for the Raiders sends it in deep. Kopkin gives chase into the corner. Hard. Herzog knocks her off the puck. And this is Lambert. Lambert out of the zone for the Pioneers. Lambert again regains, touches it up. And kick back. And the Raiders send it in. On to give chase is Paige Voigt. Voigt hard into the corner with Herzog. Herzog is taken down, no call on the play. Lambert comes out of the corner with the puck. And through neutral zone, sent in deep by Smith. All the way around, wrapped around to Klein. Lexi Klein loses a handle. Puck goes into the corner. Zarembinski with a nice move to get around the Raider defender. Back to play, Wemple holds it in, sends one into the skates of Paige Voigt. Casa out front again. Bonfi with a shot, a huge save by May.
Yeah, great shot by Bonfi. Great setup by Casa. And
Another opportunity as the Pioneers continue to pile on. Casa steered aside by May there. Zarembinski into the corner. Her and Voigt go hard. Bonfie comes out with the puck. She sends it back deep. Shot on. Kick through traffic. May with another save.
Yeah, Hill Murray's definitely come out of this into this third period saying this is our crown and we're here to defend it.
And through center ice, and the Pioneers are in offside as Anderson was a step ahead of the action.
Yeah, they've doubled up the shots on Cretin, 26-13. Hill Murray in favor on the shots on goal. I mean, that's an advantage right there. I mean, like you said, they keep peppering May. I mean, she can only stop so much. I mean, she just made 2 great saves there, but she's already let in a goal. And, Hill Murray's coming out firing here in the third period.
It'll be interesting to see how the Raiders respond now that the excitement has kind of died down a little bit. Raiders send it in deep. Back to play it is Featherstone. She gets it over to Steffen. Steffen up through neutral zone. And it's shot back in by Osborne. Out of the zone, Osborne back to play it. She sends it in deep. Steffen back to play for the Pioneers. Steffen up to Anderson. Anderson off the boards. Icing waved off. Put on last second. Pioneers are called for icing.
Yeah, you were touching on see how Cretin responds. I mean, it's one of those things. Are they deflated or are they here to keep battling and keep going and keep playing that intense hockey that they've been playing for the first couple periods? We'll have to see how it shakes out here the rest of the way through the third period here, Jeff.
Absolutely. Prater sends it in deep for the Pioneers, hard after the puck. She tips it around, sent all the way back. Herzog sends one in, and it's steered aside. Never made its way to May. Another opportunity, shot just wide of the net. That was Lambert. And the Raiders send it the length of the ice. And we'll have an icing on Cretin. 13:28 left to play in the third period here at the St. Croix Valley Rec Center. Take a look here at Chrissy Pohl, assistant coach of head coach Johnny Pohl.
Yes, Chrissy Wendell was her name when she was playing high school hockey in the state of Minnesota. She was the 2000 Miss Hockey Award winner, and as you saw on the screen, she also won a silver and a bronze medalist for the United States Women's Hockey Club.
So both coaches with a very decorative past in the hockey world, and Cretin-Derham Hall is glad to have both of them running the ship.
Well, you can tell that by just kind of watching how Cretin plays. A lot of hard work. They're a gritty bunch.
Casa on the other way sends one in, and a nice defensive play there by Osborne to break it up as she had Bonfie with her.
Yeah, Casa didn't have a choice. She clogged up the lane to shoot, and she clogged up the lane to pass. So, Casa did what she could. Just a great play by Osborne.
Raiders clear the zone. They send it the length of the ice, but didn't get to the red line, so icing is called. And we'll have a face-off to the left of May. 12.5 minutes left to play in this championship final game. Pioneers strike first, 1-0 over the Raiders. The winner punches their ticket to the state tournament. Battle on the sidewall. The Raiders come out with it. Sent down into the corner. And up out of the zone. Osborne. Diving attempt there. Play goes on. That's going to get a penalty there as Anderson's stick was caught up in Anna Becker's, and she'll be called for interference. So the Raiders with a great opportunity here going on the power play. Just over 12 minutes left to play.
Yeah, the refs have definitely let these ladies play this evening, but that was too blatant to let that one go. Cretin will get a power play opportunity here, and if there was a time to get back in this game and tie it up, the time is now for the Lady Raiders.
Absolutely, no better time. Still half a period left to play. Shot put on, kicked aside by Patrick. And Voigt can't hold. Pioneers with a 2-on-1. Zarembinski to Bonfie. Bonfie up just over the net. Zarembinski battles on the sidewall. Knocked over, and Voigt called for the penalty.
The physical play continues here in the third period, and once again we got Paige Voigt is out there again roughing people up, but you know, she's a physical player, and that's kind of her nature, and that's probably, you know, one of the successes and the reason why she's in the situation she's in as a player.
If you look at the head coaches of both sides there, trying to keep their gals focused. Voigt called for interference, and once again on the other end of it was Zarembinski. She received a right hook early in the game from Voigt.
Yeah, there's definitely some no lost love between them two ladies this evening, and you know, who knows coming up through the youth ranks if there's any history there, but none I'm aware of, but we've definitely seen a physical confrontation between the two ladies this evening.
4-on-4 hockey for about a minute and a half here. Back to play it for the Raiders is Osborne. And she turns it back around. Featherstone chasing her there. And the Raiders can't clear the zone, held in by Boreen.
Really, Jeff, that goes back to what I said. There's being intense and being aggressive, and there's just being foolish. You know, Voigt's team's down a goal, and they got a power play. And what does she do? Just a foolish penalty.
And the refs here are taking the whistles out late in the third as a delayed penalty on the Pioneers. And that'll put the Raiders back on the power play as the Pioneers are called for tripping. 10:43 left to play.
You don't think that's a situation maybe that they left them in the locker room the first couple periods and then finally remembered to bring them out here in the third, huh, Jeff?
Sure seems so. So the Raiders with a great opportunity. They'll have a 4-on-3 advantage for 42 seconds. And the face-off won by the Raiders. Osborne sends one in off the shin pads of Bonfie. Zarembinski can't clear the zone, but Pioneer defense there to do so.
6 minutes, 17 seconds. That's 2 minutes for tripping.
And they try to send it rink wide. Prater steps in front, intercepts, and sends it into the Raider end.
Yeah, nice play by Prater there. I mean, if she doesn't, she reaches out and kind of makes an effort play there on that tip. She doesn't make that play. That's an easy breakaway for the Raiders.
Molnar for the Raiders in, top of the circle, shot right on, and Patrick's there to cover up. Let's send it down to Luke Howitt. Sorry about that, technical difficulties there. We'll get Luke in a minute here. Pioneers get a skater back, tipped out front, and it's just wide, and a nice chance for the Raiders there as they try to center. Prater into the end hard, and Prater comes out with the puck. She sends it rink wide to Bonfie. Bonfie in, loses a handle, but Featherstone's there to clean it up. Turned over there, back the other way is Fabi. Fabi to Voigt, and Voigt's knocked off the puck. Sent in deep, Voigt. Voigt with a goal! Paige Voigt with the wraparound. We got ourselves a tie hockey game.
Yeah, Paige Voigt, that's her second goal of this section playoffs. That gives her 34 goals on the season, and she's been a real aggressive tone setter for Cretin this evening. A lot of pushing and shoving. She just spent a couple minutes in the box, but she just ties this game up at 1. We got ourselves definitely a phenomenal matchup down the road here.
Take another look as Voigt with a wraparound caught Patrick off guard and snuck it in. And the Raiders back on the board. You see the fans of the Raiders have been very, very vocal tonight.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to have effect on Leah Patrick the rest of this third period. I mean, that has been a raucous student section, and, you know, I don't know if that has an effect on her or not.
So we're all knotted up at 1 with 9:23 left to play in this Section 4AA final championship game. The winner is headed to state. Epic battle here this evening as both teams leaving it all out on the ice. Through neutral zone, the Pioneers head on in. Shot is off the mark there. Back, Lambert sends it cross ice over to Steffen. Steffen sends it up. Tapped in by Kate Smith. And the Raiders regroup. They send it cross ice, and the Pioneers are in offside. As a nice play by Steffen, but she had a player already in the zone.
Yeah, Jeff, I tell you what, I'm almost just taken back on how entertaining this game's. It's a great crowd. It's been intense. It's been physical. And now we're here with 8 minutes left in the game. Both teams have scored a goal in the third period, and we still got some great hockey to watch.
Absolutely. Jack Casa knocked off the puck through neutral zone. Puck's right in front of the both team benches as they battle for it. And out of the zone is Prater. She's got Bonfie out front, but couldn't get the puck to her. Down and around the net as they set up the offense. Herzog sends it back to Zarembinski, and Zarembinski's knocked off the puck. Pioneers send it back in and look to change. Raiders the other way. This is Spearing. Spearing sends it up to Klein. And coming away with the puck is the Pioneers. Touched out front. And knocked off the puck there. A nice defensive play by the Pioneers. Featherstone with speed the other way. Sends it in deep. Back to play it is Fabi. Featherstone in the corner. Sends it back low. Anderson tried to center. Knocked away there. And back over to Taylor Wemple. Wemple touches it in the zone. This is Boreen. Boreen with a shot and a big save by MMA as they corral in front of May. A little bit of pushing and shoving, but both teams separate.
Yeah, well, I want there to be Paige Lloyd's back on the ice and kind of the instigator out there. Like I said, heck of a player, but it seems like anytime there's some pushing and shoving, old number 6 in purple's out there in the mix.
Face off to the left of May. 7:12 left to play here in the third period. Shot on net, kicked away by May. I don't think she's seen it as it came through traffic. Back to play, Molnar behind her own net. Sends it up, Wemple there to hold the zone. A shot on, cleared away by May. Sent rink wide. Nice defensive play by Kate Smith. Lambert with speed across, a shot. Glove saved by May, cleared the length of the ice. And we'll have an icing on the Raiders.
Yeah, nice scoring opportunity for Taylor Lambert there. She's a senior forward, but, not much for the score sheet. Only 3 goals and 3 assists on the season, but she almost put Hill Murray on top 2-1.
Taylor Lambert is a speedy little thing. She creates a lot of chances for a lot of the other gals around her with her speed. Shot from the point is spot on. May there with a paddle save. Into the corner, Voigt looks to exit the zone. Puck goes in. Voigt hard into the corner with Bonfie. Tapped out. Zarembinski on the sidewall will send it rink wide. Bonfie into the corner, loses the puck and regains. And Casa sends it out front, tipped around and cleared off to the side. Hogue holds the zone. Back to play it is Spearing for the Raiders.
Yeah, this is a time in the game here where you almost wonder if, some seniors are just skating a little harder, doing a little more. They just don't want this to be their last high school hockey game. They want to head down to St. Paul for a week and participate in the state tournament and possibly win a championship.
Absolutely. The intensity has been phenomenal, to say the least. Raiders into the zone. Kicked away by Steffen. Boreen there to pick it up. Boreen sends it off the boards. Featherstone to chase. Icing is waved off. Featherstone down and around the net. And on the sidewall, They battle. Boreen hard into the corner. And coming out of it is Molnor. That's up and through neutral zone. Sent back. And across center ice, she tried to spring Smith. Smith with a shot, kicked away by May. Down into the corner, pinching, but unsuccessful was Prater. But she's able to get back on defense. And the puck comes into the Pioneer end. Tipped away, here's Lambert again with speed. Lambert sends one in, bouncing puck. Knocked away by the Raider defense. And Lambert's going to be called on a nice hustle play, and the raw end of the deal on that one. Let's send it down to Luke Howitt.
Really coming down to the wire here in what's been a fantastic game thus far. And remember, if you're interested in an opportunity to volunteer with TV19, call Arlen Becker at 651-747-3821 or send him an email at arlen@onlocationtv.org. Back up to you guys for the finish.
Thank you, Luke. Should be exciting here. Just under 5 minutes left to play. The Raiders with a power play opportunity. As Lambert was called, minor penalty for tripping. Raiders look to set up their power play down in the corner, bounced around, and the Pioneers able to clear up through center ice. Osborne battled there by Bonfie. Bonfie comes away with it, some stick handling, and evens it up. Opportunity here for the Pioneers. Just couldn't get a shot off. Nevertheless, we're going to have some more 4-on-4 hockey.
Yeah, that was almost that senior thing I was telling you about. Jess Bonfie underneath, stick handling, trying to get the puck down.
Take another look here as the fans on the Pioneer side were hoping for a second penalty, as an opportunity out front was taken away from them. Nevertheless, we'll have 4-on-4 hockey as Jordan Hansen of the Raiders is called for the minor penalty.
Yeah, like I was saying though, Bonfie and Zembrabinski were both down there just battling on a shorthanded, and they almost tapped one in to take the lead.
You know, Corey, if you're head coach Johnny Pohl, you got to be a little bummed out when you had an opportunity there, or the power play late in the game, tie game, just under 4 minutes left. You know, it's an opportunity to apply some pressure. You take a look at Johnny there.
You know, then he can look at it. You know, it's the same conversation we had the last time they had the power play, and what do you know? They ended up drawing another penalty, and next thing you know, they tie this game up at 1.
Absolutely. So 4-on-4 hockey for a little bit. The Pioneers hold the zone. Herzog sends it rink wide. It's put in on net, and May is there to cover up. Hansen was called for tripping for the Raiders. Take a look at May there.
Yeah, Zarembinski just took a fall there. She's been the receiving end of a lot of physical play this evening. She's taken a right hook and a cross check, and now she just took a fall again. So she might be sore in the morning. Absolutely,
certainly to say the least. It's been a very physical game on both sides tonight. Zarembinski has been the recipient of a lot of it. The Raiders are called for offsides here. So we'll have a face-off just outside the Pioneer zone. Both teams put some fresh skaters on the ice. Less than 3.5 minutes left to play. Section 4AA championship game. The winner punches their ticket to the state tournament down in St. Paul at the Xcel Energy Center. Herzog starts it back, sends it up to Featherstone. Featherstone shot in, steered aside by May. And for the Raiders, Spearing back behind her own net. Advances the play through neutral zone. Tips one up, no call on the play. And Herzog sends it rink wide. Laura Anderson the star of Tuesday night's game. Battling on the sidewall. Anderson tries to send it out front, comes all the way out of the zone. And back to play it is Steffen. Steffen touches it up out of the reach of Prater. Steffen fires one in. And the Raiders clear the zone through neutral. This is Osborne with the puck. She sends it in deep. Back to play it is Hogue. Hogue up. Kept in there by the Raiders. Sent out front, tipped away. Down and around, Zarembinski on the half wall. Sends it up. Tape-to-tape pass. Casa tries to throw one in. It's knocked away by Fabi. Casa and Fabi battle on the half wall. Fabi comes out through neutral zone. She loses the puck there. Steffen across the red with a nice pass. Just off the tape of Smith. Smith hard into the corner. It's her and Molnar battle. And down behind the net. Thrown out front, an opportunity and a big save by May. Blocker save.
Emma May has just had a phenomenal night tonight. 34 shots on goal this evening, only allowing one goal. I mean, her team has been outshot 34-15, so she's definitely been one of the main reasons to keep them in this game this evening.
And a lot of them have been great opportunities where she's really had to move. Puck played through the neutral zone, tipped into the Pioneers' end. Back to play it is Prater. And Compkin gives chase. Reversed around through neutral and into the Raider end. Boreen there, fights her off the puck. Opportunity here, another save, and a goal! Second chance effort for the Pioneers.
That looked like Lindsay Featherstone, who scored the first goal in her semifinal game, and now taps in the possible game winner here in the Section 4 AA Championship. What a huge rebound by Lindsay Featherstone.
Just under a minute left to play, and it looked like the May was able to corral the puck. As we take another look here, the first stop was saved, but the rebound, Featherstone there to knock it 5-hole, and the Pioneers take the lead 2-1 over the Raiders. Timeout called by head coach Johnny Pohl. Try to put some things together here late in the game.
Yeah, it's the semifinal game. Featherstone put in the first one, and Laura Anderson knocked in the second. Tonight, Lindsay Featherstone knocks in the possible game winner. That was almost.
Take another look here as you can see May made the initial save, and just Featherstone gritty around the net is there to punch it in. 5-hole.
Yeah, that was Laura Anderson who put the initial shot on net that Lindsay Featherstone eventually tapped in for the go-ahead goal.
The fans on the Pioneer side here erupt as their Pioneers take a 2-1 lead with less than a minute left to play.
Oh yeah, we're at capacity tonight. I mean, I don't know if there's many other spaces we could get bodies in here tonight. And when that goal went in, this place erupted.
We'll see what head coach Johnny Pohl had to say at the timeout there. See if he can spark a little excitement here late in his Raiders. The draw is won by the Pioneers, sent through neutral zone, tapped in by Bonfie. Back to play it is Molnar for the Raiders. Look for Emma May to exit the net any minute here, as there she goes. Sent into the zone by Hansen. She gives chase. Raiders looking, extra attackers out there now, looking to set up. 30 seconds left to play. Championship game. Pioneers lead it 2-1. They battle in the corner, tied up there. And a stoppage in play. We'll have a face-off just to the left of Leah Patrick.
Yeah, and if Coach Pohl could have asked for anything, it would have been a face-off in his zone. 6-5, the one-man advantage here, and see if they can get a bing-bang-boom play here to tie it up.
22 seconds left to play. And we've got a timeout by Coach Bill Schaffhauser as he didn't like what he's seen on the lineup for the faceoff.
Yeah, well, it's a good time to do it. You know, if you don't see something, you got the opportunity to call timeout. You know, great timeout call by Coach Schaffhauser there.
Well, it's been a great one here tonight. We've had a little bit of everything, some rough and tough and some big hits, a lot of physical play, some great goaltending, to say the least, and a couple of real nice goals.
Yeah, you know, coming into this game, you know, I knew we were going to see an entertaining matchup, you know, between two top teams in the state. You know, I had no idea that it was going to be this intense and this crowd was going to be that into it, that ruckus. You know, the physicality is what's really surprised me this evening. I mean, these girls have really just gone after it, and they're pushing and shoving and elbowing and nitty-gritty, and they've done everything they can to put themselves in an opportunity to win this game. And right now, Hill Murray's got the 2-1 lead, but Cretin's got a chip chair and a chance, you know. So, I mean, they got 22 seconds and a face-off in their zone. See if they can make something happen for themselves.
Absolutely. We couldn't ask for a better game and a better matchup. The number 1 Pioneers, the number 2 Raiders. Both teams, for the most part, kind of winning pretty dominantly through the bracket play coming up here. And we've had quite an epic battle tonight. As here we go, 22 seconds left to play. Pioneers lead it 2-1. Face off to the left of Patrick. We've got Beckers for the Raiders. And it looks like Anderson for the Pioneers. Face off, kicked around. Opportunity out of the zone. The Raiders. Here's Voigt looking to do something here. Losing time ever so. And that'll do it.
There it is, the dagger, Jeff, the dagger.
The Pioneers head on to state for the 2nd year in a row as they look to regain their title.
I believe that was the player of the game from the semifinal there, Laura Anderson. Tapped in that empty netter to seal the deal and seal their trip back down to St. Paul and defend their title as state champions.
Take another look here as Voigt lost the handle and Anderson was there to send it in. So from the St. Croix Valley Rec Center, the Section 4 AA champions, the Hill Murray Pioneers out of Maplewood, Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just a great game. You know, I mean, I'd have to say the player of the game. I mean, you always got to give the player of the game to someone that tapped in a game winner. And you know, a lot of that wasn't the prettiest goal in the world, but Lindsay Featherstone found herself at the right place at the right time out in front of the net, doing the dirty work, out in front, tapped in the rebound, put them up 2-1. Laura Anderson sealed the deal a few seconds ago. Congratulations to the Hill Murray Pioneers and their state tournament trip.
Absolutely. Take another look at the game winner, May with the initial stop, but Featherstone just battling all night, just battling and just kept battling. Was able to find the back of the net and lead her team to victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations again to the Hill Murray Pioneers and another opportunity to go down to the state tournament. And, you know, hang their heads high, the Cretin-Derham Hall girls. I mean, they hung in there all night. They were outshot, and they're a grinding team. And
man, absolutely, just a great game. So Hill Murray wins it 3-1. We'll be right back after this.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
I'm joined by Hill Murray coach Bill Schaffhauser after a Fantastic hockey game there. And Bill, what did you tell your girls going into that third period as far as coming out with a win tonight?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd just like to pay a lot of respect to Cretin. They played an unbelievable game. You know, we have an old saying, it's a cliche, but we just said win a period, win a game, and I was just so incredibly proud of our kids, how hard they worked, and they never gave up, and it's probably one of the most rewarding games outside of the state championship that I've been a part of.
Absolutely. Any special message going forward? I know you guys obviously had won the tournament last year. Is there a special maybe pressure this year going in as the champions from last year?
No, I don't really see it that way. My experience has been the sections have been the toughest. The kids are so excited once they get to St. Paul that it's not really that much pressure. I know the press will probably bring it up, but that's the beauty of kids. They won't know one way or the other. So. All
right, Coach. Well, I appreciate your time. I'll let you go back celebrate with the gals, and what was a heck of a game.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yep. That's it tonight. The final 3-1 Hill Murray Pioneers over the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders in what was a fantastic finish and a brilliant game. We're off.